What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another brand new installment of the DADS, Not Always on Wrestling. And as you can see by the backdrop, we are definitely not discussing wrestling here today. No, no, nay, nay, because it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go. Now, that song definitely is about Christmas. I mean, it says
Sure.
so right in the title.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
It's a little bit.
today we're going to be discussing songs that you hear during the holiday season that are mentioned and claimed to be Christmas songs that at the end of the day really have nothing to do with Christmas.
Not
They
officially.
may
Yeah.
have to deal with winter, they may have to do with snow, they may have to do with sleigh rides, but they're not Christmas songs.
Yes.
They're songs that technically can be played at any time during the winter season, just because of the general hatred towards Christmas music. It's only legal to play them from Black Friday to midnight on December 25th, going into the 26th.
Right.
If you play it prior to Black Friday or post December 26th, some places will kill you for it. It is that serious of a criminal offense.
But then some places will bring you on Dad's Always on Wrestling, like we and I, JJ and Jeff.
That's
So there you
right,
go.
because
Either
we
way. Either way.
believe in the spirit all year
That's
long.
right.
You know,
Except when
I've
I'm saying.
said this many a time. My parents love to tell stories about little Renegade in his bedroom in a tank top and board shorts in the heat of July, 80, 90 degrees, dancing around to his John Denver and the Muppets Christmas album, rocking out to the Electric Mayhem, singing the Little Saint Nick. It just is what it is. I mean, you can look at that as weird, but also being that I was raised on the Muppets and raised on John Denver, and it's the two of them in one doing a Beach Boys song, no less. I mean, come on, the Beach Boys in summer. I'm just saying, there's an argument there.
No, there is.
There's an argument there, but I don't want to give too much of a spoiler as to the type of songs we're going to discuss because we want to save it for the legitimate list.
Yes.
And please feel free, once we get rolling here, as far as what we're talking about and start revealing some of the songs, let us know what your favorite Christmas songs are that aren't really about Christmas. And of course, as the ticker says, while this is a ranking show, you can still make your opinions known and support our channels with super stickers or super chats. Super chats will get us to stop our conversation and discuss your pick. Or if it's something that will come up later on the list, we'll star it and wait till we get there. But super chat, it is as simple as that. Now, Jeff, I saw you were trying to get a word in edgewise, but I was kind of on a roll here.
You were.
So
Yes.
go ahead and what is it that you wanted to say, brother?
Well, I just wanted to say, what approximately what year or years are these John Denver Muppet in July Christmas shenanigans taking place in your tank top and board shorts?
We're
The reason for
probably
the question.
talking the mid 80s.
Mid 80s. Okay.
I I can't give an age year because ages start to run fuzzy for me.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
It was either in the apartment on Junipero, which is where we lived before moving to the Casa
Yes. Yes.
and I was in there, I want to say for about 5 years. I could be off in my time frame. We moved just before my sophomore year in high school to the Casa. Might have been just before freshman year.
So we're
So
looking at roughly early to
it's
mid 90s.
between 84 and 89, somewhere in that
Oh,
general
okay, okay,
vicinity. So
okay.
I would have probably been 8 to 12.
I ask because what you described, that summer picture
Mhm.
of Christmas music in your room, I'm going, if Tim Allen was active at that point in his career, once again, even before we were even the dads or the Casa or no DQ personalities, we were being watched and poached for our ideas.
Mhm.
Because what you just said says a lot like Charlie Calvin.
Mhm.
Throwing that shit out there.
Definitely. Definitely.
You painted a picture, and I'm imagining the young actor Eric. Oh, I almost forget his last name. I'm
Lloyd.
sorry, but Eric Lloyd sitting there, with the pretend sleigh up in his room with the chipmunks. And I'm going, that sounds awfully familiar. Disney, once again, I'm watching you because I know now what's up.
We
But
do.
we digress.
Buy the T-shirt. Makes a great Christmas present.
It does, and you can get, and the way you deliver, you can actually roll into a ball and tape it if it's a stocking stucker too,
There you
or
go.
a stocking stuffer. You actually want to pronounce it right.
But we digress. So let's get down to business. No Huns to defeat. That would be quite a morbid discussion topic to have for a Christmas show.
Yeah, it's different
But the
shows.
top 10 Christmas songs that aren't about Christmas. And before we even get into number 10, I am going to say that there were a couple on this list where we kind of took the cheap way out because they just kind of all flow together because
Yes,
of a similar theme
correct.
or a similar artist. So bear with us if you will. So, number 10, we have If We Make It Through December by Merle Haggard, My December by Linkin Park, and Back to December by every football player's favorite fan, Taylor Swift. And
Certainly.
the reason that these are on the list comes right down to one word in all the titles: December. So just because each one of them has December in the title, they automatically get lumped into holiday play. And while there is a little inkling of holiday discussion points throughout the Psalms, you know, Merle Haggard talks about, he even mentions Christmas by name twice, you know, wondering why there won't be no Christmas cheer. God laid off down at the factory, you know. So it's at the end of the day, he got fired at the wrong time of the year.
Yeah,
That's what the song is really about. Is he got
right.
fired, and now he can't afford to buy gifts for his daughter.
Exactly.
My December, these are my snow-covered trees. This is my pretending. This is my winter. He could be talking about any time of the year, when you really examine what he's talking about. But this is my December. This is my snow-covered walls. This is my, this and that. Back to December is the one I am the least familiar with, but
Right.
I'm sure Josh in the comments, surprising and happy that Tay-Tay's there. At the end of the day, if I'm remembering the song correctly, she's talking about one of her relationships and how she wishes that they could get back to December when things were a little bit better.
Yes, that's true. So I see the likely confirmation in the chat room. So we're looking at roughly 84, 85. Either way, my point about Tim Allen stands. And Tim, even 10 years prior to Santa Claus, we watching you, dog. We watching you. Oh, yeah. You need more power for your Santa Claus that you stole from JJ. Oh.
And yes, Josh, we know that's pretty much what most of her songs are about.
Exactly. Now, these songs go back to the age-old discussion of, is it a Christmas movie? Is it not a Christmas movie? Is it a Christmas song? Not a Christmas song. These songs, those movies, I'm not going by name. We got an hour and a half. We got to get this shit in. If we're going to go down the rabbit hole, I ain't going to bother. They take place in and around Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
They are not specifically, oh, this is Christmas. This is taking place around Christmas, so it's central to the story. The time of year is central to the story, but it could be the snowy time of year, the cold time of year, the worst time of year to get laid off from a job, the worst time of year to have a breakup. I've done a December breakup. It's a mucker fudder. It sucks. So, yeah, that's the age-old question. That's what this whole show is about, really, today, is they take place in and around Christmas, but they're not necessarily about Christmas.
Yes. Which brings us to number 9.
Nine.
I love that you did that with Pop in the chat room. And again, what's going on, Pop? It's good
to see you, Jerry.
Number 9 is a song that I did not originally discover via the original artist. I discovered from John Denver and one of his many covers around the holidays.
True.
And although I know it as a John Denver song, we're giving props to the original artist here.
Yes.
And that is Peter, Paul, and Mary, the Marvelous Toy, from the album Peter, Paul, and Mommy. This is another one that a little bit more obscure. Not a whole lot of people know about it, but it ends up on a lot of people's Christmas albums because he talks about the Peter and Paul scene in harmony. And they talk about how one night Father came home and he brought a toy home. And everything that this little toy does. And when you listen to the description, it really sounds like a robot toy at the end of the day because it goes zip when it moves, bop when it stops, whir when it stands still. You know, he never knew quite what it was, and I guess I never will. But he goes on and on about this little toy and the joy that it brought him as a child. And then one year he passes the toy on to his son. So now it's an heirloom, it's a hand-me-down, but giving that same joy to his own kid. So you've got the gift of a toy, the joy that it brings in giving, all very much Christmas-y sentiments, but nowhere in the song do they talk about Christmas.
No, not a single point. It's to my knowledge, the word itself is not even mentioned in the song lyrics. It's just part of it.
Did Josh really ask the question I see in the chat room? Did he really do that?
I was trying to get around it and avoid going to the chat room with it because this muckerfeather almost blew it with you and your dad here. I'm like, no, don't do it. Don't do it, Josh.
Josh, have you ever heard the songs Rocky Mountain High? Thank God I'm a country boy. Take Me Home, Country Roads. All those are John Denver. And if you've never heard those songs, do yourself a favor and listen to them. I can understand. I am going to be a lot more fair to Josh than you would imagine me being right now. Okay. I can understand where someone of Josh's age has no idea who John Denver is, because I believe Josh was born after John Denver died.
Yeah, it's close.
So, what year were you born again, Josh? Because John Denver died in 97.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's right on the cusp of when he passed away. So he wouldn't have been alive to see? Right around the same time. So I can get why somebody of Josh's age has no idea who John Denver was. He missed all of John Denver. So I can get that. I will give him a pass on that this time.
This man's in the Christmas spirit.
Okay? I very much am.
Because I grew up an Eagles fan, and hell hadn't frozen over until I was 11 years old.
Exactly.
So that's a cop out.
But they were I will let you have alive when you grew up.
That's fair. But they weren't playing their stuff very often because
doesn't matter. Hotel
Okay.
California is still one of the biggest songs on the radio at that time, and they were
I
all
knew.
still alive.
I can admit to being not being a John Denver fan, but I knew who John Denver was.
That's fair. But let's not go. Let's
No, again, I tried. See, I tried to
again.
divert, and you do it anyway.
I feel you, sir. I was just trying to give him a little bit of a leniency because of the time.
Okay.
You owe me for that one, Josh. But do your homework. John Denver, good.
There you go. There's his penance.
But yeah, Marvelous Toy is a fantastic song.
Beautiful
If you don't
song.
know it,
Song.
look it up.
Yes.
Number 8 is another one that is just gets played throughout the holiday season. And I'm not gonna lie, when I first heard it on a Christmas album was the early 90s, and it was done by Lori Morgan. Not the
Yes.
original artist,
Of course not.
but that was the first time I really kind of heard it lumped in with Christmas.
Right.
And the song does talk about packages wrapped up in strings and snowflakes that stay on my nose and eyelashes. We're talking about my favorite things. For the image here, I went with the version by Kelsey Ballerini and Joey Alexander, which very much kind of harkens back to the Sinatra, Martin, kind of jazzy swing era, even though she is very much a country music pop performer.
Oh yeah.
And a favorite of mine. I'm not even going to
Yes.
lie.
Yeah.
Julie Andrews, of course, the original artist for my favorite things, but I couldn't find a good standalone image for the song like I did for this one.
Yes, that's
For
fair.
either Julie or Lori. And
Right.
Lori did release it as a single. She
She
had a
did.
music video and everything for it.
I remember
This
that.
was the only one I could find like a legitimate image for. So that's why I went this. It wasn't biased because I love me some Kelsey Ballerini, even though I know that if my daughter watches this, that's what she's going to say. And she's going to say that I'm bull crapping.
I was waiting for this from Josh. So good boy, Josh. At least he knows this Julie Andrews song.
Of course. But again, you listen to the lyrics of the song. Silver white winters that melt into spring. Nothing in the song is Christmassy.
Right.
It paints images of the winter season.
Oh yeah.
But it doesn't say Christmas anywhere. So now that we've gotten 3 in, hopefully you guys are kind of getting a sense and a feeling of where we're coming for on some of these. Because we're about to start hitting some of the big hitters. The songs that everybody loves listening to this time of year and may not even realize that they're not really Christmas songs. These are where they are because they're a little bit more obscure.
Right.
The December ones, Marvelous Toy, even my favorite things, even though it's popular, it's a little bit more obscure in the Christmas realm, even though it is kind of lumped in there. 7 through 1, man, each one is going to be hit after hit after hit.
I meant to bring this up in our discussion. I totally forgot it for our production meeting, if you will. You know what song gets played a lot this time of year that has really nothing to do with it, even more than my favorite things? What a Wonderful World. I hear that song
this
so.
time of year. That's a hot take. Go ahead.
Yeah. I hear that song so much more often between Thanksgiving and we'll give it the Disney holiday time, January 10th. I hear that song so much in those 2 months, and then you hear it maybe once or twice the other 10 months of the year. If you're on satellite radio,
I think the reasoning may be because if you really listen to the lyrics, he's talking about how great the world is and what there is to be thankful for. And we tend to address that and be more thankful during the holiday season.
No, right.
So that may be why,
Yes.
but I don't usually hear it that much during the holidays. So
Oh
that's
wow.
that's a hot take. That's a good shout. It definitely would lump in if we had thought about it, but if we're
It's
being honest, I probably would have argued about its inclusion on the list,
which
possibly making it an honorable mention, which kind of where it ended up at this point anyways, because you just thought of it.
right. It was my intention to have me honorable mention. I just completely lost track of it in
Yeah.
our meeting about this. Like completely like, oh shit, I wanted to bring it up, but since you brought it up, I'm like, you know what, bang, there it is. So, and yes, Josh, you are on the money on the ones you mentioned, and we'll get there.
You're
Patience, Padawan,
yeah, I
patience.
was gonna say Josh has kind of gotten the feel of this where we're going. Number 7 on our list, honestly, is the last one that came into my mind when it came to these songs.
Yes,
And for me, there's no one definitive version because it's a song. I won't say that I don't like it, but it's not really in my heavy rotation at the holiday time, which
right,
may be why it was one of the last ones to think of for me.
right.
And that's Deck the Halls.
Yeah,
I mean, it's included on that John Denver and the Muppets album that I was talking about. So I listen to it all the time,
right,
but it's not something that just sticks in my craw.
right. See, for me, Deck the Halls is I won't say it if I don't hear it, I get verklempt, but it's definitely comes to my mind. Like Deck the Halls is a again, it's in a crucial scene, but it's not a crucial part of that crucial scene in Home Alone,
Right.
where Catherine O'Hara is riding home with John Candy and the band, and they're playing Deck the Halls on that trip. So again, not an essential part of the scene, but it's playing during a key scene,
Right.
so it always comes to my mind. But yeah, Deck the Halls is one of those. It's been lampooned so many times, Lord knows. Um, there have been more covers of it, I think, than there are bedsheet covers in a hospital ward. That's how much this song's been covered. But it always it always hits true because it is. It's that time, man. It's time to deck those halls. It's time to get the decorations up. It's time to do the thing. And yes, we did use Nat King Cole. I think Jay and I came to the decision, Josh. It's like if there's very few people that are Christmas first, and then everything else they did on their music is there. Nat King Cole is definitely a Christmas guy. He's got
Yeah.
so many great Christmas songs, including literally the Christmas song.
The Christmas song. Yeah.
So, but yeah, Nat's definitely one of my favorite versions of this song, which is why it was included here for JJ's purposes. Good
If
stuff.
I'm being honest with myself, the reason why I went with Nat was again, it was the only one I could find kind of singled out for
Right,
this version. I
right,
couldn't find too many others that had, an image like that where it isolated the one artist. Most of
right.
the others is like a picture of the album. We don't want a picture of
Yeah,
the album. We want a picture of the song.
right, right.
So number 6 on our list, the halfway point, man, this is
Oh,
going to be controversial.
okay.
This is going to be controversial. You can send your hate mail to at ROWJJ Williams on Twix, at _ Jeff Meacham on Twix. Number 6 is Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Let It Snow, and Let It Go, tied in there together. Now, let me just state
Great.
for the record, we do not define Idina Menzel's as the definitive version of Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Let It Snow.
No,
And if we're being honest, originally I had a Frank Sinatra graphic to
oh,
go for this, but we decided there was going to be Frankie coming up a little bit later. We didn't want to really double up on the artists. You know, Jeff said, well, can I argue you on the Frankie one? Because I hear that song, I think of Dean Martin or Dino. Dean's going to
yes,
be coming up later on the show.
right.
So we needed something different. And from the moment I heard Adina's Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Let It Snow, I just fell in love with it because of her
Yeah.
voice.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I immediately had images in my mind, you know, call it the musician that I am, call it the promoter booker that I am. But I immediately had visions of Adina singing "Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Let It Snow" for like an appearance, a performance, whatever. Snow cannons making it sing as she's singing it. And then as the song is ending, the opening strains of Let It Go starting in. Because what's the opening line, Jeff? The snow glows white on the mountains tonight. A lot of people consider some of the songs from Frozen to be Christmas songs because the entire movie is set in an eternal winter until the last like 5 minutes when she realizes that love can unthaw everything. And then for some reason, 2 minutes after that, she makes it snow again. It's like, God damn it, bitch, you just unthawed everything and now you go freeze it all again so we can go skating? What is wrong with you? But neither one of these songs is about Christmas.
No, not fully.
No.
Yeah.
Because the weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. Since there's no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. It just is what it is. Neither one of those songs are Christmas songs. Do you want to build a snowman is a little bit closer, but it still isn't even a Christmas song. And that's another one that gets a little bit of an honorable mention here since we're talking about Frozen anyways in the slump in.
That's fair.
Because again, it has nothing to do with Christmas.
Right. Absolutely. I'm getting him. Don't worry. I'm getting him. I'm getting him.
No. It's good. It's good. I only keep clicking over there because I see the little comments box in my corner, 4, 5, 6, 10 unread things. It's like I click over there just so that'll go away.
Right.
And so I see occasionally some of what he puts in there. But
well,
yeah.
I was trying to reply to the one about our names, but apparently YouTube doesn't like the word die. Josh, you were way off on JJ's initials by a lot, and you spelled my name ER instead of RE. I have sent this to my mother. You've been warned. You're gonna die. So I'm out there. My mom won't tolerate that bullshit.
Speaking of gonna die.
Yeah, yes.
Speaking of gonna die, since we're at the halfway point, we're gonna take a brief 40-second intermission because we's gonna die. Starting this Friday with Final Battle, going all the way through Bash in Berlin. Here are the watch-alongs that'll be coming across the multiverse of media that have just been announced. We know there's still more coming. Stay tuned. We'll be back in 40 seconds.
3, 2, 1.
There you have it. So much in store across the multiverse. Coming up in the coming weeks, months, and into August of next year.
And once I got Christmas karaoke, or as long as we don't play the music, we can still get away with using the words. Thank you, Fred. But anyway, carry on.
So we're at the halfway point. And again, like I said when we got to 7 and 6, we're just going to get into banger after banger after banger after banger. Coming in at number 5 is another song that's definitely all about a wonderland. No, not Alice in Wonderland. It is a winter wonderland. And again, much like with Kelsey Ballerini, much like with Nat and Deck the Halls, This was the best image I could find for the song as far as a single goes.
Yes.
Although I do very much enjoy Selena Gomez's version, as
Yes.
does my daughter, as does quite a few people connected with the Casa.
Yes.
But we know there are other tremendous versions of the song, so please don't come after our heads for the
No.
artist choice. Focus on the song title. But Winter Wonderland is the next one. Again, Josh, you need to stop jumping to conclusions and let us explain Mansfield. There are reasons why the graphic is chosen.
Am I handling the comments?
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you.
You
I have one yacht today, folks. I have one yacht that I don't.
Yes, you do. I'm sorry. I clicked over to clear it and I saw it and I'm like, I just explained it to you, Mansfield. You need to allow me to explain before you type in the stupido comment.
He has no impulse control, JJ. None. You understand this now.
So before I continue with any further, let me just reiterate once again. Some of the images chosen are only because they were the only version I could find of the single. It doesn't have to do with the artist, whether we are fans of that preferred version or not. FFS Mansfield, I'm not going to say the actual words, it's Christmas time. But FFS Mansfield. But Winter Wonderland, getting back on page here. Very much not a Christmas song. It just paints imagery of the holiday season. Anything you can find during the winter season. You know, in the meadow, we can build a snowman. You know, we'll have lots of fun with Mr. Snowman until the other kitties knock him down.
Yes. What I love about that line in particular is, as far as, we can build a snowman and pretends he's Parson Brown. Frosty's Winter Wonderland makes that scene canon, by God, because Parson Brown tries to go to marry those two. It's like, it can't.
Nope.
I'm not a snow cleric. However, we can build a snow cleric, and we got you.
That's right. Frosty's Winter Wonderland is underrated.
Find it on YouTube. It's there in full, Josh. I'm telling you, if you're a Rankin Bass fan, or anybody, not just Josh, we're picking on Josh. Like he's earning it, to be fair. But
true.
Frosty's Winter Wonderland.
Santa is watching,
and he's licensed. If you pay attention to shows last week, Frosty's Winter Wonderland. Oh, he understood. Oh, okay, Josh, you're getting that redeeming thing going. Appreciate you. Good shit. Anyway, we were going off track so much for the hour and a half. Anyway,
we're good. We're only at about 35 minutes. We're doing great.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, I wasn't even watching the clock, so there you go.
All right.
What are we talking about again? Oh yeah, Winter Wonderland. Yes.
Did you still have something you were going to say about it? Because I was going to move on to number 4.
I was. It's there. It's just what you said about the different variations. For me, it will always come down to the Gatlins on Christmas morning, and Tony Bennett, because Tony Bennett sang that song I think once a year for the 125 years he was alive. So there is that.
Yeah, and again, I love Selena Gomez's version.
No,
you have to remember the time when that song came out, and how Disney our house was at that time.
Oh yes.
Is that the definitive version? No, of course not.
It's
but
not.
It's definitely a Casa favorite.
Absolutely.
And this also goes when we start to do the list in 2 weeks for the Santa songs.
Oh yeah.
It's not as much about the artist singing it. It's the song choice. There's a few that are going to be about the artist because maybe it's a song that hasn't been so heavily covered.
Yes.
But
matter of fact, there's a one in particular. I know there's only 2 versions, but It's definitely up there in our top 10. So, but we'll get there in 2 weeks. Anyway.
Yes. Coming in at number 4, you heard me allude to when I was kind of discussing things earlier in the show, and that is Sleigh Ride by the Ronettes.
I love this song, man.
Again, any version of Sleigh Ride, but none of them speak of Christmas. All it is talking about going for a ride in a sleigh with your loved one.
Right.
Hell, depending where you live, you can do that in summertime.
That's fair.
You know,
And
at the end of the day, it's just called a horse-drawn carriage ride instead of a sleigh ride.
that's it.
But it's still the same thing.
No, I agree. I think the Ronettes version resonates with us in particular, because when you really think about it, and again, this is speaking to the non-babies in the room, so sorry in advance, but this version led itself to the creation of a particular group of characters within the Greater Country Bear Jamboree presentation in Christmas because of the bear triplets. Again, help me with the names.
Bunny, Bubbles, and Beulah, the sunbonnets.
The Sunbonnets singing this exact song during the presentation.
This version of this exact song.
Yeah, this version of this. Yeah. It's if they didn't directly poach it from the album, I'd be very surprised. We know they did. They had their own singers. I get that, but the beat, the cadence, the layout, it's the Ronettes, man. But this song, again, Josh mentioned Johnny Mathis. Johnny Mathis is a great version of this song, but it's about the lyrics. It's about the moment with your loved one, with your, with the person you want to take that sleigh ride with. It's what made, again, we're talking about crucial scenes in movies. A sleigh ride was a key component of the Santa Claus 2. When you really think about it.
Which, I'm sorry, sweetheart, number 2 is still the weakest of the 3.
Yes.
Fight me at Christmas about it, but it is the weakest.
But we've all agreed that they're all still really good. It's just
it's grown on me in recent years.
It really has, and it's just unfortunately there's always we had this human thing where everything has to have a weakest and the strongest. If you break it down in that simplistic terms, 2 is the weakest of the trilogy.
Yep.
But anyway.
So we now come to our top 3.
Speaking of 3s, yes.
Number 3 on our list, speaking of Rankin Bass. Speaking of Winter Wonderland and how a certain special made that song make sense. Frosty the Snowman. As sung by Jimmy Durante, who did sing it in the Rankin Bass Frosty special.
He did.
This one is very much the version we are going with.
Absolutely.
And yes, while this is an album cover, not a single cover, the album's Jimmy Durante sings Frosty the Snowman. Like, come on.
I mean, yeah, it says it right there in the freaking words.
Frosty the Snowman is not a Christmas song.
No.
And all except for the version in the Rankin Bass special where he says, "I'll be back on Christmas Day." The end of the line normally is, "He'll be back again someday." Someday. Not Christmas Day. Not he'll be back for Christmas. I'll be home for Christmas. No. The song is about a snowman that was built on a cold, snowy day and came to life. Anytime during winter, that can happen. Any time during winter, that can happen. That can happen in the beginning of November. It can happen at the end of February. When did we get snow last year, Jeff? Wasn't it like March?
March 1st, my birthday.
Yeah.
That never happened before.
Yeah. We got snow in California, in Santa Clarita and Victorville, respectively.
Outside this house.
On March 1st. And what did my daughter do? Went outside and built a snowman with her sister.
That's right.
Now, did it come to life? Did it lead them down the streets of town right to the traffic cop? No. But it wasn't Christmas either. Just saying.
Matter of fact, you talk about the Christmas Day lyric. Frosty himself in Frost's Winter Wonderland corrected that. I said I'd be back again someday. How many somedays are we had? Or whatever Jackie said there. But it's like, he said it himself.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about Christmas, kids. No, it wasn't Louisiana accent. That was I can't talk because my voice is still hoarse with a dog shit accent.
Yes.
But thank you, Zach, for being here. We'll see you tomorrow.
Of course.
Yes, and a horse of course, but there's a frog in my throat forever and ever.
All
Amen.
right. We mentioned earlier when we did Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Let It Snow.
We did.
But I almost had a picture of Frankie for it. And
Yes.
that you were going to veto the Frankie for a picture of Dean. But both of them were coming up later on, and we haven't seen them yet. And we are at the number 2 and number 1 spots.
Yes.
So let me see. Magic 8 Ball. Are we about to get Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin? No effing duh, old man. Okay, so there we go. It's right there, written in the stars, as they said. For which WrestleMania was that? 25, I think? 27. Okay, close enough. So coming in at number 2 is the other one we have grouped together. Jingle Bells and Jingle Bell Rock.
Yes.
Linked together, obviously, because they're so similar in their songs. But jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. I can go on with the lyrics, but none of them are about Christmas. Again, at the end of the day, it's about going on a sleigh ride. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. Continue lyrics from there. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. He basically took that and turned it into a party song.
Yes.
Jingle bells swing and jingle bell ring, snowing and flowing. Now the jingle hop has begun. What a bright time, what a right time to go riding in a one-horse sleigh.
That's it. I like that you have.
Christmas.
Yeah, this is one of those where, again, definitive is not the key here, artist is not the key here, but these two versions, the Jingle Bells by Frank Sinatra and definitely Jingle Bell Rock by Bobby Helms. My God, it's his song as far as I know.
Yeah, he wrote it.
Yeah, but Jingle Bells by Frank Sinatra this year in particular is major, and I say that because the very first time I went out shopping this year for anything Christmas related, Bath and Body Works Christmas scents, that song was playing in the background. Like, all right, it's officially Christmas season. I'm hearing Frank sing Jingle Bells. That's it. We're good. Also, the jingles we heard yesterday during most of the open mic night sounded like the bells you hear in Frank's Love. Ding, ding, I love those J-I-N. You sounded like those tinkles behind. I'm like, aha. So even if it was
the way that Frankie swings it, man.
Jingle
bells,
jingle bells, jingle. Yeah, oh yeah, exactly.
Away.
Yes.
And honestly, the only other version of Jingle Bell Rock, there's 2 other ones that I will give honorable mention to.
Yep.
Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem Band in Muppet Family Christmas. And of course, Lindsay Lohan and crew in Mean Girls.
Absolutely.
Them dancing to that song definitely brought some new life to it.
It did. It did. Great. Yeah, they there are a lot of versions of both of those songs that I just absolutely love. The ones that it's so funny. It's so funny when you think about when you're a kid and when as you grow older and it still sticks with you. Jingle Bell Rock by Katie Lang and Little Drummer Boy by Grace Jones on Pee Wee's Playhouse Christmas Special have both scarred me for the wrong reasons.
All right.
Grace Jones, beautiful artist, beautiful woman. But that scene with that costume, I'm good. And Katie Lang, again, my opinions will have me cancel culture, so good. And speaking of cancel culture,
Josh
number one.
seemed surprised that Jingle Bells and Jingle Bell Rock was number 2. He seemed shocked.
Yeah.
But Josh, how can you deny that there is any more Christmas song that isn't about Christmas than Baby, It's Cold Outside?
Yes.
I mean, this song is on every compilation that there is at the holidays.
Yes.
And it's not even a Christmas song.
Not even remotely.
At the end of the day,
There we
it's a
go.
dude trying to get laid on a cold night. That is what the song is.
Yep.
It's got jack diddly squat to do with Christmas. Dude's trying to get laid on a cold night.
Dude is
And he
saying
doesn't
every
want the
chart.
woman to leave because she could catch her death of cold while leaving and trying to get home. But it's not a Christmas song. It's a good song.
Yes.
It's a fantastic song. I love this song. And cancel culture needs to go F itself for trying to get it banned. And
No,
then
it
turning
does.
around and making WAP the number 1 song on radio stations the same year.
Dude. Right.
I'm sorry.
There is no defense. No. There is just none.
Oh, but it's a woman empowerment song. No, it's nasty.
It's straight nasty. It's a nasty song. And it's being played on commercial radio. And I don't even think they bleep the P word. I don't think they do. And if they do on some terrestrial, fine. But it ain't getting bleeped on satellite radio, kids. I know this.
Well, because satellite, you can say whatever you want to say.
So if that song is allowed to permeate our culture, and Lord knows it did, there is nothing. And again, to the credit of the artists around the world, they have adjusted the female talkbacks where it doesn't sound like, Lord forgive me, it doesn't sound like the guy's freaking roofing her drink like it does in the Dino version. What's in this drink? It's like, can we just not? But again,
hey, you want to hear a version of that song that is freaking hilarious? Find the version that's Homer and Jethro with June Carter.
Yes, that's so good.
That song, that version is hilarious.
Yes, must listen for everybody watching this, either live or on demand.
And Josh, because I know you're young, June Carter is the woman who married Johnny Cash.
Yes. She is the June.
And you don't need to know. That's fine. Even I barely know them, and I'm prehistoric compared to you.
It's fair.
June Carter is the woman who married Johnny Cash. So it's her being funny and singing this with these other 2 classic country artists.
Yes.
Like we're talking the Hank Williams Sr. era, the
Oh,
Patsy
yeah.
Cline era. So
yeah. June Carter is the June in the Johnny and June syndrome. Google that, kids. You'll thank us later. My grandparents had that happen to them. Whether anybody admit it or not, that's how my paternal grandparents went out. Johnny and June syndrome. Anyway.
So that brings us to the end of the list.
Woohoo!
What did you guys think? Let us know. Leave your comments. Did we forget any Christmas songs that weren't about Christmas?
We know what Josh thought.
Let us know in the comments.
Yes, please. Oh.
Jeff, I do not have a graphic for Meech's musings in here. One was not loaded, but would you like to give yourself a little shill before we go to the other couple of shills that
Absolutely.
we've got loaded in here?
Absolutely. So today on Meech's Musings is, the typical second half of the show shill. What's happening tomorrow? And Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, of course, is Ring of Honor's final battle. And if you talk to a lot of the experts in wrestling, it very well may be the true final battle for that brand. But we'll see how things lay out the rest of this year. But we're also going to talk about living with honor and conducting yourself with honor and what that really means on multiple fronts today on Meech's Musings.
Okay.
Tying it into the week.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Living with honor and what it means to really step into the ring and battle and conduct yourself with honor and respect. And if that ring be your life, your job, your familial interactions, that's what we're going to discuss today on Meech's Musings, by gum.
Sounds good.
I thought so.
Make sure you go back. If you missed it earlier, check out today's episode of For the Love of Wrestling, where I give my recap and thoughts on Rampage, Collision, and SmackDown, which was the tribute to the Troops special. Go back and give that a watch, or at least, a listen as you conduct your daily routine.
That's what I do when I can, because I'm always doing something on a Monday morning, or any morning, really.
Tomorrow, make sure you tune in to, that one's got a date on it. Tomorrow, make sure you tune into Stat Boy Sports Bar, 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 Eastern.
Yes,
where the
it
food
will
is
be
hot, the beer is ice cold, and the seats are warm. So pull yourself up a bar stool, engage in that professional sports conversation with your barkeeps, Stat Boy Mike and Dory Lou.
Yeah, it'll be Stat Boy Mike and Jeff is Gelman again this week. I was going to try to throw it out there before you did it, but
Got it.
Yeah. Yes. Dory's work schedule outside of the bar once again precludes her involvement tomorrow, and we don't begrudge her that. Priorities for passion, kids.
No, Emmanuel. No real honorable mentions.
Yeah.
I mean, we did mention, do you want to build a snowman?
Yes.
You did mention the one that you mentioned.
What a wonderful world. Yes.
Yes. So, but yeah, we really kind of cut it down to the nitty gritty. It was like we couldn't think of anything really other than the ones we touched on that weren't about Christmas.
And it'll probably be the same thing in a couple of weeks if we're being honest, because there are so many songs about Santa, but we really wanted to hit the key points on the 25th. And again, we recognize that not everybody's going to be watching in real time when this premieres at, when it premieres on Christmas Day. Are we going to have the premiere time be the same, 11 a.m. Pacific?
No, I was thinking about having it premiere at midnight.
Okay.
Christmas Eve into Christmas Day, midnight. Have it just go live. That way, if people want to watch it while they're doing their Christmas morning exchange, they can. If people want to watch it while they're doing their Christmas breakfast, they can. If people are still up wrapping their gifts and want to watch it, they can.
It's true. The only thing I will
to sit around the hearth with family and watch it instead of watching the Christmas Day football game, they can. It's already up there and they can watch it at whatever time during the day they want. We're not dictating a specific time that they have to take out of their day to watch it. But it's going up on Christmas Day and you can watch it whenever that day.
The only thing I will discourage is you youngins out there. Do not use our show going up at midnight as an excuse to stay up and try to sneak a peek at Santa Claus.
Nope.
We frown on that around here.
Because Santa will not come until you've gone to bed.
That's right. So if your parents, first of all, your parents letting you watch our show, shame on them. They're getting cold in their stocking because they wrong for that. But
you know what? We've given a pretty G-rated show today.
Today, yes. Today's
and we
about
probably will
yes.
in 2 weeks as well, if we're being honest, because
we'll
be talking about Santa, and he sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good. So you got to be good, for goodness sake.
And if you're watching a show about the songs about him, waiting for him to come, you're negating the idea, kids.
Absolutely.
You got to get your butts to bed.
And again, Santa won't come until you've gone to bed.
The show will be there when you wake up. Open the presents, eat the breakfast, drink the morning cocoa or coffee if you're the adults, because Lord knows we're going to need the coffee. And then get your watch on. I do encourage watching the Disney special on Christmas Day because that's supposed to be really good this year. Derek and Julianne went out of their way again, from what I heard. But after that, I'll watch the tired football games. Watch the Dad's Christmas special. That's where it's at, kids.
Exactly. And if you enjoy it, give it a super sticker. Because you
Absolutely.
won't be able to super chat because it won't be live.
Right.
It'll be premiering, but we're not going to be able to see the super chats come through. So give it a super sticker, give it a super like, whatever,
That's
Show
right.
your love because we put in the work for your enjoyment for Christmas Day.
And speaking, JJ, of Christmas time enjoyment, that
Yes.
everybody but maybe perhaps Noah Foster is going to be enjoying.
The eve of Christmas Eve, second annual open mic karaoke night.
Yes.
The one that started it all.
Yes.
It'll be 1 year ago to the date that we did the eve of Christmas Eve open mic night karaoke.
Yep.
And much to Noah's chagrin, it has come back.
And let me just say, JJ, put the graphic up one more time.
Yes, sir.
Once again, Nostra Renegade comes through because look at what hands are holding the microphone. CM Punk hands. Yes, they're decorated a different color because of the yellow as opposed to the normal Punk colors, but those are Punk hands. JJ knew he would be back. And folks,
back again someday.
CM Punk is the gift that keeps on giving, except for my bank account. But anyway.
And we will be back again in 2 weeks with the Dads. Not always on wrestling. Top 10 songs about Santa Claus.
And that poll did close last night, Jay. We have our winner.
Yes. And as soon as we hit end stream, we're going to film that episode.
Yes.
So without any further ado, we got this in under an hour, Jeff, for the West Coast Professor, Jeff Meacham. I am the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams, wishing all of you one more time who celebrated a happy Hanukkah.
Yes, still on Hanukkah.
Thank you all for tuning in and joining us today. And we will see you in 2 weeks for our top 10 songs about Santa Claus.